and welcome. The recent phenomenon of writers, artists and scientists returning national awards in protest against what they call growing intolerance in the country has led to a spiraling and vicious debate between them and those from their fraternities who oppose this form of protest for reasons ranging from simple difference of opinion to sharp attacks, calling them hypocrites and anti-national. The BJP has accused these eminent Indians of manufacturing dissent, calling the protests sponsored by political opponents, the Congress and others. We are now being joined by prominent award-winning actor Anupam Kher, who's reacted sharply to members of his own fraternity returning awards as a method of support to protesting students at the FTII. He also took on an audience at the Mumbai Lit Fest on Thursday during a debate on the freedom of expression. Mr. Kher, thanks very much for joining us on NDTV this evening. What exactly is the opposition, the argument you have against members of your own fraternity returning the awards in support of protesting FTII students?
Well, I think when you say that it's my own fraternity, I don't think it is the fraternity. It's a documentary filmmaker, and except for one director, which is Diwakar Banerjee, whom I've worked with, there are individuals who also make movies. There is no fraternity. If it was a fraternity, then an organization of film producers guild or a directors guild or actors association would have sort of refused the award. It's I'm sure they have done it as an individual capacity, and my problem is not a problem. They have every right to protest, but I just feel that it's a selective protest. It's a selective outrage. There have been many incidents in the past which talk about intolerance, which talk about divide in the society, and I feel that these people are honored by the nation, as Vidya Balan very correctly said that yesterday, but by not any particular government. So to sort of insult people and the jury and the chairman of the jury and people who have worked in those movies, like Mr. Diwakar Banerjee got a national award for Khosla Ka Ghonsla. I played the role of Khosla.
Right.
I think me, along with Vinay Pathak, Ranveer Shori, Tara, Kiran Juneja, the director, the DOP, the technicians, I think we worked very hard for that film, and it was not difficult to make that film. And it was made only because we stuck together. We had a producer who was not a very professional producer. We were thrown out of our hotel rooms. We were not provided with our cars.
Right.
So that film got made with our blood and sweat as much as Diwakar Banerjee and Jaideep Sahni, who's the writer. So when he returns that award, he insults me and my hard work that I put in that movie.
But Mr.
And he does not have the even basic courtesy of informing. Just a minute, let me just finish.
Yeah.
You asked me a question, so I just would like to answer and elaborate on that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. That's one part of it. And then I as an individual don't see the atmosphere that he is trying to create in this country. I think we are living in, if not a great atmosphere according to them, but we are living, I feel, very free in this country. I think I have been brought up by giving me values. I was born about after 8 or 9 years after independence. My parents were taught me certain values. My parents told me the freedom, what it is to be live in a free country.
Right.
And I think now it's become fashionable to question that freedom. What happened when 1984 riots happened? What happened when Kashmir genocide happened? What happened when emergency happened? Now they can say that we were not at that time, but although they can remember those times.
Although, Mr. Kher, at the time of the emergency as well, there were many prominent, eminent Indians who actually, took on the establishment at that time. And at every point in time, there are different groups of eminent Indians who will come out and voice their different forms of protest.
Anybody at that time.
Yeah, if I can just ask
you, at that time sort of saying anything about the government was put behind bars.
Right,
These people are coming on national television channels and talking about the imminent danger to the freedom of expression.
Who were speaking were put behind bars, as you said. But if I could just follow up on a point you just made, you said you don't see this atmosphere of fear and intolerance that these people are talking about and protesting. Nonetheless, in Mumbai, for example, we've had a couple of instances recently. We've had Ghulam Ali's concert being banned in the city. We've had Sudhindra Kulkarni being the victim of an ink attack because he was at a release of Khurshid Kasuri's book. Is this not intolerance to you? And I mean, there are many examples of where these things are happening.
First of all, I condemn those things. I don't think an artist has any region or something like that. I don't think anybody's face should be blackened. But is this first time happening in the independence India? Is this the first time that
I don't think anybody is saying this is the first time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, so if it is not the first time, haven't we lived through these? We are a large country. Such things happen tragically. Unfortunately, there are some elements who want to create problems. But you decide that, oh my God, these are frightening periods. I'm sorry, these are not frightening periods. This is what I told Mr. Sudhir. You know what was frightening yesterday in that lit festival?
Yeah. Was
the behavior of the crowd. They were supposed to be these educated intellectuals sitting there in the audience and booing and behaving like rowdies and taking away the freedom of expression of me talking about it. They wanted me to not talk.
And so you did say they were a paid audience.
That was not only shocking and that was amusing.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You did say that you called them a paid audience at that event last night.
They behaved like one. Well, I don't think in English, I think in Hindi. So I would have in Hindi said, "Arey, inko to intizam karke laya gaya hai." But and that happened at the end of it. But they were prepared from the beginning. So what I'm talking about, that intolerance has to come from. Maya, would you like me to sort of?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
You seem to be more eager in asking me questions and sort of trying to sort of make me feel that I'm not answering your questions properly. But I would like to answer those questions in a little more elaborate manner before I finish. Then you cut my thoughts away. I get distracted.
Go ahead, sir.
So the intolerance of those people in the crowd was frightening, as frightening as anybody else doing something like that. And if I call them paid audience, maybe I should have not said the word paid, but what I meant, and I made it clear in the beginning that, you see, you are taking away the freedom of expression from me because the moderator is a British gentleman, though I'm an admirer of Nick, but you took away the freedom of expression to be expressing myself in Hindi because I come from a Hindi medium school. Nobody asked me. And I asked Mr. Mr. Dharkar that why have you kept the topic as the freedom of expression is in imminent danger? Why isn't there a question mark before that? He said, in the classic form it does not happen. What is a classic form? Who decided a classic form? He said, no, I spoke to Nick. So we are still asking a Britisher what is a classic form to have a debate in India. Number one. Number two, I also told him, let's make it the freedom of expression in India is not in imminent danger, and let them speak against the motion and let me speak. But I'm sorry and I'm sad that he had already taken a position. And at the end of it, when they were not ready to listen.
Right.
So what about my freedom of expression? What about their intolerance towards me?